What is up, guys? It's Razer, and this is my Nephthys Kozmo deck. So if you don't already know, the Nephthys got new support here recently. They got these kind of like baby monsters, and then they got, like, of course, the old school Nephthys card, and they also got a ritual support as well. Oh, and they got a link support on top of that. There's 2 link monsters, 2 ritual monsters, the old school Nephthys. There's a trap card, and then there's a spell, and then of course you got the baby Nephthys cards, which I'll go over in the deck later. A lot of people are mixing them with dinosaurs, but I decided instead of mixing them with dinosaurs, I mixed them with Kozmo. So why Kozmo, you may be asking? Well, when the Kozmo big ships are destroyed, it doesn't matter if they're on the field or in the hand. If they get destroyed, you can spell summon one that's lower level than it. So if Dark Destroyer gets destroyed, you can spell summon any Kozmo that's lower level than 8. So that's very nice. And to destroy the Kozmos, use the Nephthys cards. You can destroy monsters from your hand with the Nephthys cards. But let's go ahead and jump into the deck here, and I'll go over all these cards and all that stuff. So BLS because we run light and darks. And keep in mind the Kozmos banish themselves, so sometimes they're not in the grave. But with Tin Can, they will be. So that's why I decided to run BLS. Dark Destroyer, broken card, obviously. It's a 1. I'd run it at 3 if I could. Tin Can's really good. Can't be targeted by card effects. Gain 1,000 each of your standby phases. Dogfighter's not bad in Link format because he summons a token. So not a bad effect. Slip Rider, 3 of it. Staple. And Kozmo decks. You pretty much always run 3 of this card. Double Dark Lady can get a monster effect. 2 of it's fine. 3 of it would be too bricky. I like Wicked Witch. I like double Wicked Witch. I know some Kozmo players don't run this card. And then some do. I've seen many different lists of Kozmos. Some lists run this card, others do not. I've always ran it at 2. I've made plenty of Kozmo decks in the past, and I feel that I always run 2 of it. I feel it's the perfect number for this card. 3 of it's too much and 1 of it's too few, so 2 of it's perfect. But I just wanted to point out that some people don't run it. Next up we got Kozmo Farm Girl, 1 copy of it. This card's seen a lot of play when Kozmo was first released, because I remember using it when Kozmo was first released, and this was a staple at 3 for the longest time. But then people realized it's not as good. Realized that it wasn't as good as it was before. When it first came out, it was good because you catch people off guard with it. And it opens up OTK plays, but the problem, it's only got 1500 attack, so it's really hard to inflict damage with it unless you like clear your opponent's board or whatever. So not a lot of Kozmo players even run it anymore. But I ran 1 copy of it because why not? Alright, so now we got the Nephthys cards. So this one right here, during your main phase, this is a Protector of Nephthys. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 card in your hand, and if you dispel summon 1 level 4 or lower Nephthys monster from your hand. And then during the standby phase, if this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to the grave, you can destroy 1 Nephthys monster in your deck. And I ran 2 copies of it. Next up we got Enlightened of Nephthys. You can target 1 level 4 or lower Nephthys monster in your graveyard, except Enlightened. Destroy 1 card in your hand, and if you dispel summon that monster in defense position. And then during your next standby phase, after this card was destroyed by a card effect, instead of the grave, you can spell summon this card. I ran 2 copies of it as well. Next up we got Kozmo Strawman. This card is used in every Kozmo deck, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I've ever seen a list without this card. So I ran it at 2. It allows you to get back one of your banished Kozmos. Next up we got Speaker of Nephthys. So you can target 1 Nephthys card in your graveyard, destroy 1 card in your hand, and if you do, add that target to your hand. and then during your next standby phase, if this card was destroyed by a card effect instead of the grave, you can add one Nephthys card from your graveyard to your hand. Next up we got Prayer of Nephthys. So this is the best one out of all of them. So you can destroy one card in your hand and then add a Nephthys card from your deck to your hand, or Nephthys monster from your deck to your hand. And then during the next standby phase, if this card was destroyed by a card effect, you can add one Nephthys spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So I like that card pretty well. Pretty good card. And then Kozmo Tin Can. You can reveal 3 Kozmos from your deck with different names. Send them to the grave, or your opponent chooses one random. You add one of them to your hand, and then send the other 2 to the graveyard. And it opens up BLS plays, potentially. And then the new spell card for Nephthys. So you can target a Nephthys card you control and one card your opponent controls and destroy them. And it also triggers the Nephthys' effects during the standby phase. So that's really good. Next up we got Kozmo Town, of course. You're going to run this in Cosmos. So when it's destroyed, you can add Kozmo from your deck to your hand. And you can also get back one of your banished Cosmos to your hand as well. Next up we got Kozmojioh, double of it. So you can target one Kozmo monster you control, destroy it, and then you can banish one card your opponent controls. Yeah, so that's pretty good. It's a good interruption card. Next up we got Awakening of Nephthys. So this powers up your Nephthys cards by 300 attack. And then if this face-up card is destroyed, you can spell summon one Nephthys from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And you can destroy it with the spell card. So that's kind of nice. And I guess 300 extra attack's not bad. Better than nothing. And then the last of the cards is the Solemn Brigade, which I run in a lot of decks. So for the extra deck we got Volcasaurus, because there's level 5s in here, of course. Baguska. The Nephthys cards are level 2, so we run a couple of level 2 rank 2 XYZ cards. And then for the link monsters we got Topologic, Borreload, Borrelsword, Summon Sorceress, Hyperstar, Apprentice Magician, Great Fly, the Nephthys, the Pallidium Deity. This is a new card. But I'll go over this in another video because I plan on making more Nephthys cards. Or I plan on making more Nephthys decks, I mean. And I'll probably go over this in a future deck. So, I'll save it until then. And then I run Underclock Taker and Link Kribo. Because Tin Can's level 1. And then obviously I put the other Nephthys cards here just to show them off at the beginning of the video, but I plan on making a Nephthys ritual deck as well. So this is not the first this is not the only Nephthys deck I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make other ones. So just stay tuned for more Nephthys decks in the future. Because I was always a fan of Sacred Phoenix and Nephthys. I always liked this card. I use this card in the video games. In the older Yu-Gi-Oh video games. So, I always liked this card. So it's pretty nostalgic for me seeing it see some play. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, and thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next deck that I post. I post every day, or at least I try to. Some days I miss days, and I apologize for missing days, but I do my best to get out a video every day, but it's difficult sometimes. Since I have another channel as well, it's pretty difficult to get out a video every day. Due to time restraints and all that stuff. But anyway, I'm going to go and end the video here. Thanks again for watching, and later.